Okay, initial thoughts. Anne Hathaway looks effing amazing as the Grand High Witch. The rest of the movie, a little more complicated. Stanley Tucci as Mr. Stringer looks great, and Octavia Spencer looks is huh huh mm mm. Okay. So first of all, we got our reveal about who Chris Rock is playing, and that is he's not playing Octavia Spencer's husband. He's playing the narrator, meaning he's the older version of Luke slash our protagonist. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do like a shot by shot analysis, or should I? Because there's a lot of stuff to say. Actually, screw it. Okay, I'm going back. First of all, HBO Max original. So we know that we're starting in Demopolis, Alabama. Um, Octavia Spencer, no makeup. We're just supposed to believe that this is the grandmother, and frankly, she looks like his mother. I thought there was going to be makeup and that there was going to be some sort of flashback, but no, apparently they're not doing that. I don't know. It's just I'm used to this story being taking place in 1980s Norway. I'm not, or actually, sometimes I imagine it set further back in time. Well, to this technically this is further back in time, but setting it in Alabama, and I want to make it very, very clear, I do not have a problem with the fact that the two protagonists are black, but this this might take me a little while to get used to. Um, Also, it's not as dark as I would like it to be. It's very, very bright, which is interesting because supposedly this new version keeps the ending from the book intact. Man, I want to like see this, even if I'm not gonna like it. I want to at least see it. But it's gonna be on HBO Max apparently. Maybe there'll be a different way to say it. Okay, so she's giving him. This is probably a picture of his parents, who died. The trailer kind of neglects to mention that. It kind of neglects to mention any dark stuff from the story. It does look like he's crying though. Um, it's not like what when you go frame by frame, you can see the darker materials of this story, but not when you just watch the trailer normally. It, okay, so this is the grandmother. Again, very very young grandmother. This is her. Oh, this is her coming to get him in the aftermath of the parents' death. I can see that. I, I wish Robert Zemeckis. Who's the DP on this movie? Hold on, I gotta check. So the DP is Don Burgess. He did Forrest Gump and Castaway, so he works with Robert Zemeckis a lot. Um, and he does mostly light movies, except he did The Conjuring 2 once, and I wish he would have maybe picked up something from that. So he's got quite a lot of experience under his belt, but mostly doing very light films, and I I don't know. I wish that the color palette in this would be less bright because this is meant to be kind of a spooky story, and we're not really getting that. So he's running into his grandmother's arms, and she's holding him. You can see like a Santa Claus picture in the background, so maybe this bit takes place. I believe it was in the winter holidays in the books too. So I'm just not used to associating the story with this much lightness. Do I have the brightness on my computer up too high? So she's doing like a dance scene. She's giving him some food. Oh man, like all these individual elements I'm okay with in this story. It's just the way that it's being presented in this trailer is very very light, and I'm not so keen on it. At the Okay, but they're doing some like R&B. I don't know. Clearly, this is a different boy and grandmother than I'm used to in the book. Um, and I just have to like be open to a different interpretation. Okay, but now they're like, okay, there's some dark stuff in this story, but what is that? Is that a witch or is that the Grand High Witch? Or is that just a statue? It kind of looks like just a statue. On October 22nd, that's when we're getting this movie. Although we might have to make it a little longer because we don't have HBO Max. So this now it starts looking like the witches because now they're arriving on Hotel Magnificent, and even though it's a different location, I totally buy this as Hotel Magnificent. This matches my expectation of what Hotel Magnificent looks like. And now we get Anne Hathaway as the Grand High Witch. And okay, so first of all, my comment earlier is right. There are like these lines going across her face, coming out from her mouth, which I imagine is part of the mask. And I frankly find it a little bit odd that Mr. Stringer or nobody else picks up on that. She's like, oh, I had some plastic surgery recently. And she's coming in with all these other witches behind her. And now this is weird. The look that Luke slash John slash the look that the boy gives her, it looks like grandma's behind them checking in, and he like, I don't know. It's just weird to imagine the boy doing that, and not being a little bit more scared. Again, like the color palette, I would never guess this is the witches from the color palette. Okay, Stanley Tucci as Mr. Stringer, amazing. He fits the role flawlessly. And then Anne Hathaway, she's got a cat with her. She did in the 1990 film with Angelica Houston as well. There's no mention of that in the book. I think that is a fitting idea. And now, oh man, her voice as the Grand High Witch is just pitch perfect. Wait a second. I'm actually noticing right now that it's not just the Grand High Witch, that all the witches behind her seem to have these subtle lines extending from their mouths as well. So, is that just a thing that all witches have? Are we, because of a thing I'm worried about later, are we not going to see the Grand High Witch's real face? Are they going to change that? Okay, so this is from the meeting scene, obviously, and she's making these chocolate bars appear, possibly magical. And this, again, this looks like the witches, even with the blonde hair. And the snake going up her dress, I'm okay with this look. And then, okay, that's Bruno Jenkins, if I've ever seen him, approaching. And they're kind of fading this moment to black, so it's hard to get a good look at, yeah, but it's definitely Bruno Jenkins. And now we're getting to see more of the mice. They're not hiding this in the advertisement. I kind of hoped they would. And the cat's licking its lips as she's talking, which is great. More stuff in people. Okay, and okay, maybe being a bit too obvious. I imagine the Grand High Witch being a little bit more subtle than this, but that's just my interpretation of the story. This Grand High Witch is kind of pretty obviously evil from the outset. But the face, she's got the face and the voice down very well. I totally buy, despite the look, I completely buy this as the Grand High Witch. And also, I completely buy Stanley Tucci as Mr. Stringer. Those are the two aspects of the film that I have no problem dealing with. And then he points out that she made a mistake, and she has this little look. Oh, Anne Hathaway is going to be the best thing about this movie, I feel like. So then this image, I think this is the Grand High Witch. It might be something else, giving a chocolate bar to a little girl, presumably with the mouse maker formula in it, and then she's turning. Like this shot bit actually looks kind of sinister, which in most of the movie does not look sinister. It's a very bright color palette, and then yeah, and Octavia Spencer as the grandmother here, not quite selling the danger. Instead, it's like, ooh, I knew they'd be here. Like, it's a very Molly, you in danger, girl read. But Okay, so this is a scene that we know from the game, no, that we know from the book and the original movie takes place in the treehouse, and they're changing it so that's in the middle of a department store, which feels weird because if it's in the middle of a department store, I feel like somebody else would be there and they'd see it. Like, hey, that lady is offering this boy a snake and candy. Wait, she has candy and a snake. Like, so many red flags going on here. And also that face she's making. Who would trust her? Okay, I forget what the line is here, but she's like telling the boy to look at somewhere. Reimagined by Robert Zemeckis. Okay, wait a sec. Okay, let me count those chairs. That's 25 chairs on the left, 25 chairs on the right. There's only 50 witches? That is not a. Even in the book, there were more than that. I, and also, it doesn't really seem like it'd be that challenging. This feels like it's doing what the BFG Spielberg movie did, in that it's taking everything about the book that made it these characters actually intimidating and just fully reveling up the comedy. So now she's taking off the wig, and that looks cool, but are we not going to see her with her real face? So now we see her, wait, gloves off, and we did see her with gloves on earlier. All the other witches in the background look great. They've got the bald the bald hats exposed, their feet are off. This is exactly what they looked like in the book. But it looks like Anne Hathaway, it looks like there's not going to be a maskless version. I guess they just thought that was too scary for the version of the story they were telling, which is really upsetting. So she's got her potion, and now here she is. Anne Hathaway's like, okay, if I'm not going to be in the Wicked movie, I'm going to take on one role where I play a witch and I'm floating. It's an interesting idea to have the Grand High Witch float in this meeting. I'm curious how it comes about, but I'm robbed if I didn't get the mask off. Like, that's a big thing. She takes off the mask and I why did you not give that to us, Robert Zemeckis? And now this is him like watching from a corner being suspicious. Okay, we're going to get a lot of shots like that in this scene. Oh, I like this. This is a different look for her, but it is a much more frightening look. Maybe this is in the final scene. Oh, okay. And this is the mouse transformation? This actually looks legitimately disturbing. But not for the reasons that it's supposed to be disturbing in the book, but it's a different kind of disturbing where it's this goo erupting over his body, and he's also kind of blatantly turning CG in this scene. Oh man. So then we see the three mice. So as was revealed in the to me, there's a change in this story where the other in the book and in the original 1990 film, the boy has two pet mice. In the film, in this new version, he's going to have one pet mouse, and then he's going to find out after the transformation that this mouse was actually once a child. And it's an interesting idea, but where are you going to go with it? I think what I know is that this other child is female, and that it's a way to get one more good female character into this story, which I think was one of the earliest complaints about the book. And the CGI mice look good. I mean, they're obviously very Uncanny Valley, but I mean, I feel like they look as good as they could have because they're clearly going with this whole movie in a more cartoony direction. And I do like I'm curious what they do. Everything with Bruno Jenkins seems great, and the idea of like him not knowing the proper plural of mouse is funny. Academy Award winner Anne Hathaway. I'm not sure if you have to add that to this movie. I don't know how popular the name is going to be. Also, I want to address something because I didn't address it earlier. Um, if Chris Rock is playing the older protagonist, uh, is he just narrating? First, are we just not going to see him properly? Because are they going to show him at the end as an adult mouse? Because hopefully they stick to the ending of the book and he doesn't get turned back in the end. Like, Guillermo del Toro helped write this script, right? I wish he had been more responsible for the visual aspects of the movie. So now we're seeing Anne Hathaway look at herself. Ooh, there's like a flash and her face gets creepy for a second. Can I frame by frame that? Oh man. See, it's not quite Grand High Witch yet, but it's closer. Oh, we're seeing part of the face rot off. We're almost there. We're almost at a really cool, creepy Grand High Witch, but I think this movie is afraid to be genuinely creepy. And that's a bit upsetting to me. I want it to be genuinely creepy. And then they have Academy Award winner Octavia Spencer. So this is the scene of her discovering her grandson as a mouse. Cut to the Grand High Witch celebrating for something. Oh man. It's funny, I was so nervous about the casting of Anne Hathaway at the beginning, but now it looks like she's going to be the best part of this movie. And wait, this is a scene where the grandmother and Grand High Witch are confronting each other in this room. So now, more fun. Yeah. Okay, there's actual conversation between these two. I feel like Anne Hathaway is fully aware of the kind of movie she's in, and she's just gonna have fun in this role. Every actor wants to play an over-the-top villain once in their career. Okay, wait, there's a shot. So let's see, there's a confrontation between Hathaway and Spencer. There's this shot of the grandmother looking suspiciously off a balcony. There's this couple shot of the three mice running by. And then there's this. So at first I saw this and I was like, is this meant to be the Grand High Witch's mansion? This looks like a really spooky house. Or is this just Hotel Magnificent at night? Also, this shot actually looks creepy. Why is there not more cinematography like this in this trailer? So then she's saying the classic line from the book, it doesn't matter who you are or what you look like as long as somebody loves you. And I think this is at the end, at the house. Again, not crazy about the color palette. But okay, that's clearly the Grand High Witch in her mouse form. Or at least a witch in her mouse form flying over and attacking Mr. Stringer. And then there's this brief confrontation between Stringer and Octavia Spencer. We don't see Bruno's parents in this at all. And then the witch's logo, and it changes into the title. Okay, so I'm curious about this. My voice went very high there. I think the production design and costume design looks great. The elements, there's a couple of elements in here that really do look like the book. Anne Hathaway as the Grand High Witch looks like she's going to be the best thing about this movie. She inhabits that role so brilliantly. Stanley Tucci and the actor who plays Bruno, those really do feel like the book. But it feels like it's making the same mistake that the BFG movie made, which is it's so focused on the lighthearted elements of the story, and it forgets that this is actually a dark story, which supposedly this is going to have the book's darker ending. Okay, so I'm looking at the comments. The first comment is, this gives me Everybody Hates Chris vibes because the narrator is Chris Rock. 90s version of the movie is, who asked for this? The original, it's a classic. Looks good. Just watch the original. Unnecessary. No. There was a story just a few days ago that broke where it said that Kristen Chenoweth has a role in this film. I believe that's going to be some sort of cameo. Um, Probably as like a higher up witch to Anne Hathaway or something at the end. I don't know, but the fact that this movie is going to be on HBO Max, mm, I do love the witches though. I do love the witches, and I think that this has just enough elements from the original witches to get me excited. Um, but it's clearly like it upsets me that of all of Rod Dahl's stories, this one is so associated with the lightheartedness and not enough with the what the darkness. This is meant to be a dark story, and I feel it's going to be interesting if the movie. You know what? Maybe it's just the trailer. Maybe they're just choosing to show all the light stuff and like work around the dark stuff. But the cinematography in the film, they're just playing it off very light. And I don't really know about if I buy Javier Bruno and Octavia Spencer in these roles yet. I I don't know. I'm 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 curious. So October 22nd, which is not long, 20 days, we will get a good look at this movie. Okay, and that's my thoughts on the. I was talking for almost a full half hour. That's my thoughts on the trailer for the Witches remake. This Halloween, bring the big screen home. Okay, so we'll have to check it out. I think honestly, I've done so many videos relating to this movie on this channel, so I think I'll watch the movie and then give some sort of review of it. So you can honestly look forward to that. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.